It's another edition of Time About the Movies, and today we're taking a look at the 4 films of February 1st, 2008. And I want to let you know right now, I had some trouble remembering what the movies were. Not because I didn't know already, but if you go to Box Office Mojo right now, something is up with the page, and I'm just going to let you see what I'm talking about here. Yeah, ordinarily you would see the new releases in yellow, but as you can see, the yellow's been taken away, and you're probably thinking, well, it's just maybe on this page alone. But no. If you go to the weekends for the current year, get away from that, yeah, it's all the same on this one, too. So I don't know what the hell is going on here with that, but I am going to do this, but I should have a good idea of the 4 movies that I have here. I already got the trailers already, so should be good to go on that front. So as you can see from the first one there, we have a concert film with Miley Cyrus. We have a J-horror film remake with Jessica Alba, and 2 more installments in the, I guess this is going to be a new trend now for bad comedies, where I'm just going to throw in the clip from the ASDF movie, like, haha, comedy. Because, yeah, we've got 2 more bad comedies to look at here, but we'll get to those eventually. But before we do any of that, let's go ahead and take a look at the biggest new release of the weekend, and that is, of course, Hannah Montana and Miley Cyrus, The Best of Both Worlds in 3D!
Motion picture concert event you've been waiting for. Hannah Montana and Miley Cyrus, Best of Both Worlds extended concert movie in 3D. For the first time, the year's biggest music sensation comes home with even more songs than the theatrical movie. And in 3D, it's like she's performing right in your living room. Be there for the incredible premiere performance of Miley Cyrus. The must-own DVD is packed with exclusive bonus extras and go behind the scenes with backstage access. This summer, surround yourself with Hannah Montana and Miley Cyrus in 3D. Bring home the only extended concert experience. Coming soon in 3D to Disney DVD.
Although technically a 3D movie with a 16-year-old Miley Cyrus would be kind of give off some kind of creepy and give off some really, really bad signals. But you know what? Hey, I just saw her on the Grammys a couple weeks ago, and I gotta say, she's actually gotten hotter over the last couple of years in the what 20 years since it's come out. And I can say that because I'm 36, she's 32. It's a 4-age difference, so it is not creepy in any way, shape, or form. At least I think it is. But let me just go ahead and move on to the movie itself here, because, yeah, you could see that this is basically a film version of her concert that she was doing when Hannah Montana was on the air, the Best of Both Worlds concert, which the title of that sounds like a transsexual type of movie, if you ask me. But yeah, this is basically a concert, one of her concerts put up for the big screen, which, yeah, these were a pretty big deal back in the day. Like, you had to get, like, the things that, you know, when you see people scalping concert tickets for people like Taylor Swift and Sabrina Carpenter, they were doing it a lot for Miley Cyrus back in the day. I mean, they were pouring the money in, and, like, yeah, people were going to these concerts all across the board here. But yeah, I've never seen this movie because obviously I was never a fan of Hannah Montana or Miley Cyrus, or I was never a fan of Miley Cyrus around the time. So this really was not made for me in particular. So I really have no real feelings towards this movie in general. But I will say this, though. This is actually a very significant film because as we talked about on last week's movies, U2 3D came out, and with that and also this was especially with this movie, because of how successful it was, this was basically Disney saying, you know, here's how you make digital 3D a success all across the board here. You take things like concerts, you take like blockbusters, you shoot them with these very unique and impressive 3D glasses, 3D cameras that we have to work with here. And that's the thing you can do to get back to get people back into the movie theaters. Also, you got to make the movies good, obviously. But this was a major test. This was a major groundbreaking test to see whether or not this could actually work out. And so they put it into theaters for 1 week, and because of how successful it was, they obviously expanded it for a couple more weeks, and it actually did put in a pretty big profit overall. It made over $70 million, like 10 times its $7 million budget. So it easily made back its money back and then some. And it made the studios realize that, hey, 3D may be the way to go in the future. So so you're going to start to see a lot more movies being put out in digital 3D. And for James Cameron with Avatar, it was really a big this was big for him because, he was putting all of his money and effort into Avatar. And of course, a year and a half later, it turns into the biggest it turns into the highest grossing film of all time. So it's hard to believe that this was the film that really showed everybody that digital 3D was the way to go to the future. And it played out, and as we've seen, it's played out in both good and bad ways. Good because when they shoot the movies in 3D, it actually looks pretty cool. And then we've seen the bad with movies that weren't intended for 3D, but they were post-converted into 3D after the filming was done, which led to a number of really, really bad ports. And we'll delve into those once we get closer to late 2009, especially early 2010, because that was where we got some of the worst ones. But yeah, as far as this goes, I guess like I said, I haven't seen the movie, so I can't really say if it's any good or not. But like I said, this music wasn't really my thing back then, and yeah, she's definitely gotten a lot better over time. And I guess this really does show that she does have some potential, had some potential as a box office draw. I mean, later on in the year, she'd be in Bolt, which I thought she was pretty good in, and then they did a Hannah Montana movie based off the show the following year, which, again, not made for me per se, but I've seen little bits and pieces of it, and I don't know, it doesn't look that bad overall. But then she also did The Last Song, and then So Undercover, and then after that, it was just like, okay, maybe you just stick to the singing, honey. And yeah, so overall, yeah, I've never seen the movie, but I got to give it credit for giving us the digital 3D generation that we still kind of are in right now. We're not seeing it as much as we did back then when this came out, but is in between when this came out and now, but it's definitely still there. You can still go to movies and get 3D glasses and see them in 3D, but they're not like the big draw anymore as they were back in the day. But we're going to continue to delve more into that as we go along in the years and months to come, because we're going to see a lot more of these in the coming years. So yeah, that's Hannah Montana, Miley Cyrus, the best of both worlds for you. So let's go ahead and move on to our next movie, which is yet another really bad J-horror film, and once again, another strike in Jessica Alba's dwindling film career. Let's talk about The Eye.
Nervous about tomorrow?
I've never been so scared in my entire life.
Cellular memory, a phenomenon in which transplant recipients display characteristics of the donor. On February 1st,
These are your eyes now.
I'm seeing things I shouldn't see.
you won't believe
It's not real. It's not real.
her eyes. Jessica Alba. The Eye, rated PG-13, February 1st.
Just go and watch the movie Blink with Madeline Stowe from 1994. It's basically this movie, except done a whole lot better. It doesn't have J-horror aspects, and was actually a thrilling mystery overall. This is not a good movie, and it has Jessica Alba as a violinist who's been blind since she was 5 years old due to an accident. She submits to a surgery of cornea transplantation to recover her vision, and while recovering from the operation, she realizes that she's having strange visions. With the support of a doctor, she finds who the donor of the eyes are, and begins a journey to find out the truth behind her visions. And yeah, like I said, it's another one of these really bad J-horror remakes that we're going to get, because we just had one missed call. We're going to get Shudder in the next month, and yeah, it's just not going to get any better anytime soon. And the film doesn't do anything new or clever that these movies hadn't done before. Everyone was trying to capture the success of The Grudge and also The Ring, and that got old really, really quickly. Like, as soon as they realized that we could take all these J-horror movies and bring them to America, they'll be big hits. And no, they would not. And this is definitely another one of those examples of a movie that was nowhere near going to be the success they thought that it was going to be. And again, you have somebody like Sebastian Gutierrez, who has made some pretty bad movies, some we've talked about already, and some we're definitely going to get to down the road here. So yeah, definitely not a good sign by any means necessary. And like I said, this is when Jessica Alba's film career was just going downhill. Like, we're still more than halfway down the roller coaster. We haven't gotten to the horrors that is the Love Guru yet, because that's when it literally, the roller coaster car just came careening down and just caused a massive explosion and disaster to her career, because that was really the final nail in the coffin. We're still not at that point yet, but we're getting there. This is not a good movie. This is a terrible film, really lazy, not scary at all. Avoid it like the plague. And with that said, let's go ahead and move on to some more bad movies. Another installment of, like I said, I guess a new series on here called Haha Comedy, because, we're still in the midst of some really bad comedies to start the year off. And here's another bad comedy, and that is Paul Rudd, Ava Longoria, and Lake Bell starring in Over Her Dead Body.
Fiance passed away about a year ago on their wedding day.
She was crushed by an angel.
Huh?
And as sad as I am, I do appreciate the irony.
I am getting something, but it's a man. He's in a blue suit.
My father wore blue suits.
Are you trying to contact him?
He's still alive.
Oh.
At least I think he's still alive. I haven't spoken with him since last night. Maybe something happened this morning.
You didn't try.
I totally tried. I chanted, played with an eagle feather, listened to some Tori Amos.
This is Kate's diary. You could go to him and say that she wants him to move on.
I can't do that.
You could fake it to salvage someone's life.
Ashley, right?
It was raining when you met her, the woman you were trying to contact.
Yeah.
What started as a little white lie
Why are you doing all this?
I'm helping someone.
Is he cute?
is becoming a real-life romance.
Oh my god! You know, I'm getting the feeling like she wants me to be happy again.
I'm getting that feeling too.
You are so dead. What?
Until he dropped in.
Oh my god. Are you really like a ghost? That is awesome. Here, catch.
Run away. This is what happens when you lie about talking to a man's dead fiance. I've seen it 1,000 times.
Now, the battle is on.
You're dead. I still don't want you to see him, and there's not a whole hell of a lot you could do about it. Really? I don't need sleep. I can hound you every second of every day.
This is an emergency.
You're never gonna know if what you hear is real.
Just go!
Just stay cool, guys. Come on.
Stairmaster's open. You know, for you.
Oh my god.
Don't do it. Oh, I'm doing it. Wow, this is gonna be awkward. Oh my god.
You okay?
Yeah, just, oh my god.
See, in reality, that would be the point where Lake Bell says, "Okay, bitch, here's how you do it. Like, here's how you to please your man." Like, that's what a normal person would do in that situation, but not her. No. Not with this type of a comedy. You have Ava Longoria, who plays a very, very icy, nasty bitch who dies on the day of her wedding to her fiance, played by Paul Rudd. And when she dies, he subsequently begins a relationship with his psychic, played by Lake Bell, who becomes haunted by by Ava Longoria's character trying to sabotage their relationship. Another movie that's trying to say, what if we took Ghost and decided to make it's like with P.S. I Love You. What if we took the movie Ghost and made it bland and boring and wrote it like a bad sitcom? Here's another one that decides, let's take Ghost and make it a bad sitcom, but instead let's make everybody the most dislikable person ever. You hate every single person in this movie, not just Ava Longoria, not just, Paul Rudd you can't stand because he does not care that this person is dead. Like when he goes to the psychic for the first time, and the psychic is asking her, "Oh, so you lost your wife, right? You lost your fiance," and he's just like, "Yeah, she died. So what's this whole psychic thing about that?" Like, if I lost my fiance or my girlfriend the way that he does in this movie, my first thought is, I'm gonna play this up for laughs. No. My first thought is, I need to take some time. I need to get my mind straight because I just saw my girlfriend die in the most bizarre way possible. Not in this movie. This is another one of those movies where the comedy is not in the fact that is not in what comedy should be, and that's misery. But this is the type of comedy that says we can have a little misery, but we just want to make you feel happy all across the board here. No. That is not how this works. That is not how reality works at all. And it doesn't help that you have some really, really bad characters all across the board here who are so badly written. so pointless. Jason Biggs plays a character who reveals that he's gay, and they're not even trying to hide it. Like, they reveal it as like this big twist at the end of the movie, and it's just like, dude, we saw it the moment you jumped on screen. Like, this is a film that is so lazy and so boring and so uninspired. And then again, it doesn't help. This is done by the same person, the producer. This is one of the same people that gave us that great movie that we talked about last time, Meet the Spartans. I'm, of course, absolutely lying to you. Meet the Spartans is a terrible comedy. And this is indeed a terrible, terrible comedy that just wastes everybody's talents in here. All these people deserve to be in a much better comedy than this. And this fails on every single level of a comedy. This is not funny. This is not clever. It's boring. I almost said pretentious. It's not really pretentious. It's pretentious in a way that it's not a good movie in any way, shape, or form. And this is another one you should definitely avoid like the plague. But at least you can give it credit for this. It's at least trying to do something clever, unlike the last film we have here, and that is Strange Wilderness.
South American gazelles. This gazelle is eating a flower. This lion is eating the gazelle. But he'll probably spit out the flower. All right, that's got to be true, right? All right, let's go with that one. This is Strange Wilderness.
2 weeks from now, the show is canceled.
Thank you very much.
That's Bigfoot. I know where he's hiding.
This is exactly what we needed. Okay, Cooker, you need to... Is that a thong you're wearing? Yeah, I'm wearing a thong. Yes, the shark is a... What the... Look at that thing's teeth.
Strange Wilderness.
Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh,
I think you get the gist of what I'm trying to tell you here. This is not another good movie. This is a terrible, really terrible comedy that is made by the same people that gave us Grandma's Boy. But the thing about Grandma's Boy is that it was stupid, it was silly, but it was funny. It was a funny stupid, it was a funny silly. There's none of that in this movie whatsoever. You have a movie that centers around the crew members of the titular fictional nature show Strange Wilderness heading to Ecuador to investigate a Bigfoot sighting in order to keep their show from being canceled. And boy, can you tell that this movie was shot 3 years ago and didn't get released until February of 2008. Because you see people like Jonah Hill. You see Justin Long, you see Jeff Garlin, you see Ernest Borgnine, Robert Patrick, Harry Hamlin, Steve Zahn, and you can definitely tell they looked very different than they did back in 2005 than they did in 2008. Because this was sitting on a shelf at a studio for years now, and someone just said we need to put something out there for this weekend. Here's this movie by the same guys who make Grandma's Boy. We might get something out of it. And nobody went to go see this movie. Nobody gave this movie any attention. And it went ahead and went on to become a massive failure. And unlike Grandma's Boy, like I said, which is funny in its stupidity, this is just stupid for the sake of being stupid. Everybody in here is an idiot. Everybody in here is dumb. They do stuff in this movie that it makes no sense whatsoever. And when they do this stuff, it completely takes away from the entire point of the film's existence. Like, the whole thing is to go after Bigfoot. When they finally get to him at the end of the movie, you know what they do? They shoot the crap out of him, and it's just like, well, there goes the plot of the movie. The whole reason why we're here, because you killed the character you were going after. You killed Bigfoot, and it's just like, well, you know what? Maybe if you took him back to society, and maybe if you proved to everybody, hey, here's Bigfoot, here's proof that we got him. Maybe if you actually had a hook or something clever to say about it, maybe there could actually be something funny. But no, guess what they do? They just completely give up. They just completely realize that there's no hope for what they're trying to do whatsoever. There are characters that get killed off who are supposed to serve clear plot conveniences to the storyline, who are killed off and then never mentioned again. They are completely taken off out of the film for no reason whatsoever. There are characters in this film that do stupid stuff for the sake of being stupid. There's nothing funny about the movie whatsoever. It's a disaster. The film doesn't even end. The film does not even end. You want to know how this movie ends? Because what they did apparently was so well and so good that they're supposed to read, is that they basically You know, they basically did everything did all the stupid things they needed to do to get the show back on the air, and they basically said, "Hey, we're putting our show back on the air," and it literally ends with an outtake, not even a scene from the actual movie, a blooper from the outtakes. You can even hear the director Fred Wolf saying, "Okay, cut," and them laughing. It's just like, are you fucking serious? Like, the movie doesn't even have an ending. That's how terrible this movie is. This movie is so lazy and so unrepentantly terrible. I just came up with a new word. I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm like a Chris Parnell on a Saturday Night Live. You know, you fondruk, and it's just like, is that an actual curse word? I hope so. Like, the bottom line here is that this movie is terrible. This movie is not that funny. I mean, there are moments when sometimes the stupidity can actually get a decent laugh. Like, I do love the one part where, like, there's one scene that got me to laugh pretty hard when they're doing this when they're just going through all this old footage, and you just hear Steve Zahn just screaming at the top of his lungs, like, "Oh God, make it stop!" Like, it just keeps going and going. Moments like that make it worth it somewhat. Some of the few moments that make me say, okay, I'll give him credit. It was stupid, but I at least got a couple of laughs out of it. But that's it, man. This movie is just unbelievably terrible. This is a film that is so lazy. It's so cheap. It's so uninventive. It's not funny whatsoever for the most part. It's a bad movie. It's a terrible, terrible movie. It's a movie that really, it's something that you need to avoid. There's a reason why this sat on the shelf for 3 years, because, yeah, they knew it was bad, and they knew that there was nobody that was going to give this movie a fair shot. Because, yeah, it's that terrible of a film. So avoid Strange Wilderness like the plague. And now this is where not having the yellow shading is going to really bug me here. But that's it for this episode of Time About the Movies. But the next time we meet, we have, I want to say, 5 movies for next week. And again, more installments in the comedy category with some really bad comedies, including Matthew McConaughey and Kate Hudson in Fool's Gold. And then we have a couple of decent comedies here and there, like Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins, which is an ensemble featuring Martin Lawrence and James Earl Jones. We have the Vince Vaughn comedy stand-ups movie, Wild West Comedy Show, 30 Days and 30 Nights, Hollywood's the Heartland. And we have one of the best comedies of the year, In Bruges, with Colin Farrell, Brendan Gleeson, and Peter Dinklage. And then we wrap it up with one of the most detestable comedies ever, Paris Hilton in The Hottie and the Naughty. So okay, we've got some comedies. Some of them are going to be good. Some of them are going to be pretty bad. But there is at least going to be an assortment of some decent ones there. But yeah, the haha comedy trend's apparently going to continue into next week. So be on the lookout for that on tomorrow's show. But until then, thank you so much for watching. And if you want to see more videos like this, please go ahead and hit the playlist on the next page. Check out the previous episode. And also, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, notification button, and the bell. That's when you get updates on when new videos come out. We do post new videos here every day. So with all that said, I am off. I will see you guys next time. And until then, as always, take care.